The year 6 task, there's only really one skill you're looking for, and that's recording data and results of increasing complexities in scientific diagrams and labels, classification keys, tables, scatter graphs, bar, and line graphs. And here it is in plain English. Now what this means for you guys, in this particular task, you have a bunch of data from the Department of Environment, and you're going to be using it to display the data in different ways, using tables, Venn diagrams, Carroll diagrams, and a classification key. And there's some tasks which are kind of laid out based on this data that you guys have from the DOE that allow the kids to demonstrate these things. Now the first thing is using something called a Carroll diagram. Now if you haven't seen a Carroll diagram, let me just borrow your pen for a moment. A Carroll diagram is the simplest diagram in the world. It's you have two categories. You can have something is something or something's not something, and that's it. This does two boxes. So you have one box saying dangerous, and another box saying not dangerous. So it's the most simple sort of representation of data. Now to do that, the kids can go through and look at these books. There's different pictures, different plants, right? There's the ironwood tree, the silver thatch, several different types of shrubs, etc. And there's dangerous ones like maiden plum, ladyhair, cow itch, manchineel. And so what the students would be expected to do is basically, essentially list the plants that are dangerous, put them over here, and not dangerous, and put them over here. This is called a Carroll diagram. Okay, it comes from Lewis Carroll, who's a poet. That is the first activity, and if you want to bring in plants from outside or do a field trip for it, support it, awesome, that's even better. And the second thing they do is to look at the locations where the plants grow and make a Venn diagram. Now Venn diagrams, as you know, are really straightforward. So you have three things. You could have Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brack. To do this big, in their books, whatever. And if you look at the text here, it says some of these plants grow in different places. A lot of them grow on all three islands. If it goes in all three, it obviously goes here, right? Or I missed, but in the middle. But there's some interesting text here for these shrubs. It says Agave caymanensis, which goes on all three islands and nowhere else in the world. The two cacti that are unique to Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. So, so those ones will go just here for Cayman Brack and Little Cayman, so it'll box in here. Those are the ones in the middle. And this, you get some interest, and then something here. The North Cliffs of Cayman Brack are the world's only home to this other plant. So there's one that only lives in Cayman Brack, and you could list the plant there. You see what I'm saying? So this is a really, it's basically, it's almost a literacy activity. Well, so it's a directed activity related to text.
Gotcha.
And so basically they kind of chew in this data and they kind of put it into a Venn diagram. That's nice.
Okay.
The next thing they can do with this data that they've got here from the DOE is, can you represent that same information in a table? So in a Venn diagram, I can say where the plants live, but I could also make a table like this. I could say plant is here, and then I got the different places. That wasn't good. This thing's quite strong, so it's okay. I can have Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brack. And so one plant will live here, here, and here. Another plant will be only here. Another plant will be only here and here. So it's the same data, but represented in a different way. And that's another approach. And that's a skill. And not all of them will be able to do that. And how much you help them with that or guide them is up to you, but that'll help you inform your judgment whether they can do it independently, which is what they need to be at working at. And the final thing is to do a key. Now, I know your classes have been doing a lot of work with keys, and there's some stuff, especially in the old Year 4 textbooks, for the insects, la 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 la. But I was thinking it'd be nice if they can make a key to identify these dangerous plants. So say there's only 4 dangerous plants to demonstrate here. So the easy thing they could do is make a key saying, does it have brown fruits? And if it does, then you know it's manchineel. If it does not have fruits, you say yes, and you say no, go here. And if it says no, then it could be either of these other 3 things. You can say, does it have purple flowers? Okay. Okay, and you say yes, and if it says yes, then you know it has to be cow itch. And if you say no, then you need to ask another question. For example, you could say, asking one of these two, you could say, does it have dark green leaves? Or even better yet, does it have little hairs on the leaves? Or you could say, does it have shiny leaves? It doesn't matter, any old question. Let's say, does it have shiny leaves? So you can say, does it have shiny leaves? And a yes, then it must be maiden plum. And no, then it has to be lady hair. This is one way of doing it. This is not an exhaustive list. And ideally, if you do a field trip, kids bring in other plants, have just demonstrations about it. But I don't want to say bare minimum. But this is the kind of activities if the students can do these 4 activities you did right there. Then they have evidence of, working with data in complexity, increasing complexity, and they're gathering the data from this third hand, this source.
Okay.
You feel okay about that?
Yes.
I just kind of ramrodded through that.
Yes,
But you feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're being very, very kind. All right.